Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of the SoberBuddy podcast, your daily boost of sober thinking and awesome life building. I am Tara Schiller, CEO and co-founder here at SoberBuddy. Remember, if you like what you hear on the podcast, you should definitely go download the SoberBuddy app for bite-sized challenges, motivation, tips, and sober tracking so you can take your life to the next level. There are so many good challenges on there. I'm not just saying that because I helped create it. I really love these challenges, and they will give you the tools you need to get and stay sober, and they're customized to your drug of choice and stage of recovery. And Buddy even responds to your mood, which is my favorite part of the app. So definitely check it out, yoursoberbuddy.com, or you can check us out in the App Store. Today, we're going to talk about anxiety because this is super front and center for me. I struggle with anxiety, debilitating anxiety, like incredible panic attacks, anxiety attacks, where I feel I have that feeling of I'm going to die. So it's one of those things where I feel like if I flip over into this space, I feel like I have to call for help. I have to have somebody help me. And so I really wanted to talk about that as our first thing. Because anxiety is a huge issue that comes up with addiction. So a lot of times we're treating anxiety with alcohol or marijuana or other kinds of drugs that help us to just relax because we think that that's helping. But what it ends up doing is as soon as they wear off, it increases our anxiety. So I want to give you a couple coping skills, things that you can use to help you with anxiety or panic attacks or things of that sort that aren't alcohol or drugs. So the first thing I want to talk about is adrenal cortex. The first time that someone told me, go take a bunch of adrenal cortex, I was like, there's no way that's going to help. It felt a little bit like, I don't know, hippie stuff, but it's just a supplement. I will tell you, this is a game changer. If I'm having massive anxiety, because I tend to get more anxiety when I'm hormonal as well. So like I'm PMSing, I'll get it really bad. So I just kind of have it on hand and I'll take like 5 adrenal cortex. And within 30 minutes, I feel a super big calm come over me. It's almost like everything inside of me before was really fragile and I was really reactive to everything. But once that adrenal cortex kicks in, it feels like a warm blanket or like a warm, just like almost like a warm liquid going through your body, and you just feel so much calmer. So I highly recommend adrenal cortex. Another thing that I have used is hot showers. And I know a lot of people talk about using hot showers when they're going through withdrawal as well, but just having hot water running over your body when you're in an anxiety state is super soothing. So just standing in a hot shower, letting that run over you and just grounding while you're in there, taking deep breaths. Another like almost emergency coping tool I have where I'm having panic to the point where it's severe. I would say it's a severe panic attack is I developed this thing where I started to ask myself, how does it taste? So how does this feeling taste? And it's usually like a very metallic-y taste in my mouth. But every time that I do that and I say, I'm tasting this feeling and I'm really so focused, it brings me so incredibly focused on that one moment that it gives me a relief. Now, I will say that as soon as I break that focus, that relief kind of goes away. But so it's more of like an emergency tool for the exact moment. So just tasting your feelings. Another thing is grounding. So I had during one of my kind of early on panic attacks, and I started to have panic attacks after I had a trauma event. So this was about in 2019. I never had anxiety issues before that. And, you know, when you have a major trauma event, you get kind of a nervous system rewiring. And so this has all happened since then. But during one of my first panic attacks, I called my dad, who many of you know is my co-founder, and he is a trained therapist and has been working in addiction recovery for over 20 years. And I called him. I was in a total panic. Actually, I didn't call him. Somebody called him on my behalf because I was that far gone. And the first thing he said to me was, put your feet on the ground. And he didn't say anything else. He said, I want you to just take your feet. And I had been like laying in my bed, kind of curled up, almost in a fetal position. And he said, I want you to take your feet and I want you to put them on the ground. And I did that. I was like, okay. And I took my feet and I put them on the ground, and I was barefoot, and I felt a little better. And then he's like, okay, are your feet on the ground? And as soon as they were, I was like, yeah, my feet are on the ground. They're on the ground. They're on the ground. And he just kept having me focus on my feet being on the ground. And that was huge. It started to calm me down. I kind of came back to my senses where I could have cohesive thoughts and, start to reason. But, if you're in a panic attack, you're not reasoning. You're just in a total spiral. So grounding is huge. Putting your feet on the ground, just being like almost stuck to the ground, heavy. You're not floating up in space. And the last thing I want to say for a panic attack is having a reassuring and calm connection. So if you have somebody that can talk to you on the phone or just even hold you. So when we're in fight or flight, there is a thing where our nervous system, as soon as we are held, I think you have to be held for 20 seconds or something of that sort, where you're held. It's just a standing hold. It's, no one has to say anything, but you're just held. And that reassuring, calm connection tells your brain that everything's okay, you're safe, you're going to be all right. And we're programmed for that, so that when we reconnect with our community, it calms us down. So those are 5 things that I think are incredible coping tools for anxiety and panic attacks. Again, that's adrenal cortex, hot showers, tasting your feelings, grounding, and reassuring and calm connection. So kind of look at where you are. Think about how you can add those things to your life if you're struggling with anxiety. And those are all things that you can reach for instead of alcohol and drugs, because you can't just take something away. You can, but your chances of success are so much lower if you just take away the substance. It's good to have something to replace the substance with, so that when you're in that state, you feel like you're taking action. You feel like you're doing something to combat everything that's happening to you. So here's your 5 tools: adrenal cortex, hot showers, tasting your feelings, grounding, and reassuring and calm connection. Have a plan for that, so that next time you go into a panic or anxiety, you know what to do. That's it for today. That's just your SoberBuddy drop of the day. These are short little podcasts. We will be going live on Wednesdays. Those will be longer. Wednesdays, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. So definitely check us out then. And I can't wait to talk to you tomorrow.